Listen lads, great news, Cork City's getting a tram, but there are some interesting points to discuss. Time for a trip to Cork. So a few days ago, the emerging preferred route was published and the public consultation was started. This is a great decision and it's come much earlier than previously indicated, which is great. Anyway, without further ado, let's look at some maps. So this is Cork, a city which is obviously the capital. I don't know what you're talking about, Dublin isn't the capital, and is also very hilly. The River Lee runs through the centre. The topography, as you can see, is, shall we say, not conducive to railways. However, Cork had trams before. Here's a map of them here. For reference, I'll include the current railway line. This is the emerging preferred route. If you want to take a closer look at the stops, you can pause here. I'll leave links to all of this stuff in the description anyway. After lengthy discussion with others, it has become clear that it has some critical issues to solve. But I don't want to be only complaining here, so first of all, here's what's good about the route. First of all, it is a tram line in Cork. This would have been unthinkable for many people a number of years ago. The Cork Metropolitan Area Strategic Transport Study gave it a rather distant timeline, so go out and show some support. Between Ballincollig and MTU, a section of new alignment, there will also be parallel cycle tracks and footpaths. This is also great. An effort has also been made to reduce the impact on trees and to replant some to maintain the character of areas, such as on Melbourne Road and the Curraheen Road stop. The emerging preferred route has two main issues as it stands: speed and capacity. There are many factors which affect the speed of trams, mostly to do with how they interact with other road traffic. This route interacts with traffic a lot. I won't deny that it's hard to avoid this. Cork doesn't have quite as many wide roads as, say, Dublin. But the fact of the matter is, the original proposal in the transport strategy was for a travel time of 27 minutes from Ballincollig to the city centre, and 47 minutes along the whole route from Ballincollig to Mahon, whereas the current preferred route's travel times are 35 minutes and 55 minutes respectively. The current route also contains a lot more tight turns than the previous one. If we take a look here at the section along Skiyard Road, we'll see many right turn lanes on the tram tracks. This is hardly ideal. Trams will have to slow down or stop for right turning cars. Either cars should wait to turn in the car lane, or right turns across tracks should be prohibited entirely. Car traffic is also routed through a platform at Churchyard Lane, which might be fine on a quieter street with local traffic only, but this is not the case here. There's also a sizable amount of mixed traffic running in the centre. MacCurtain Street is marked as shared running. MacCurtain Street should be closed to car traffic already. That would let buses, and later trams, move more quickly, and curtail parking in bus stops and on the footpath. I swear Leesiders have a special ability to invent parking spaces. I also worry about the mixed traffic section on St. Patrick Street. I hope that's for local access only. Strangely, on Marquee Road, near Porky Huive Stadium, there'll be more mixed traffic running, despite there being no buildings on either side, which prevent the widening of the road to accommodate both car and tram lanes. Here on the Western Road, the tram should undoubtedly be running in the middle, so as that it doesn't get caught up at bus stops, which, as you can see, are planned to be in the tram lane. This will inevitably cause delays if not corrected. A one-way system for car and bus traffic should probably also be set up in order to separate the bus and tram lanes, making use of Mardyke Walk for one travel direction. The problem of bus stops in the tram lane is much too frequent across the route. Bus Éireann will have to make changes to speed up boarding and alighting buses if this is to remain the case, such as, letting people tap their leap card themselves instead of having to tell the driver where they're going and scanning it in front of them. Also, this section here has almost every capacity constraint imaginable. The proposed capacity is also far lower than would be required to last into the future. The line will likely be full on opening. Again, the transport strategy proposed roughly 380 people per tram with 12 trams per hour for a capacity of 4,600 passengers per hour per direction, whereas this route It's proposed to have only about 230 passengers per tram and only 10 trams an hour, leading to only 2,300 passengers per hour per direction. Frequency, like speed, is dependent on mixing with other road traffic, so again we need fewer mixed traffic sections. But theoretically you could run as many trams as you want, even if it would reduce reliability, were it not for the design in Ballincollig. What was initially a terminus stop has been replaced by a loop. This will negatively affect frequency and timetabling because trams won't have anywhere to wait at the end of the line to make up for delays. A single track section also means broken down trams cannot be overtaken, which can happen sometimes. The loop is also a strange proposal because it precludes extending the route and misses the west of Ballincollig, including the Dell campus, which employs over 2,000 people. The original route looked more like this in the west, but it differed elsewhere too. It took a much faster alignment from the hospital to the Technological University. It also followed the path of an old railway line, now a greenway, from Cork City to Mahon. This route would be much faster, and as you can see it's straighter. But there's one situation in which I don't mind sending the tram the slow way. If a railway were also to be built along the former alignment, it could serve towns such as Carrigaline and Passage West, which desperately need a rail connection to Cork City, but are too far away to reach with a tram. Lastly, on the question of capacity, we need to visit Cork City. A third platform is provided for extra capacity on match days. However, this has been placed to the north of both platforms. It should, however, be in the middle. The proposed layout requires a tram to cross both tracks when leaving towards the city, whereas putting an extra platform in the middle would not. Furthermore, Cork City has a capacity of 45,300 spectators. They say frequency would increase for match events, but to bring even half of them away, at double the normal operating frequency, would take 5 hours. So unless the plan changes in advance, the trams and platforms will obviously need to be lengthened, as happened with the Lewis trams and platforms in Dublin. However, due to curves here, the platforms for Cork City would not be possible to lengthen, and neither would the ones at Kent Station. In neither case is it impossible to redesign the platforms to be future-proofed. Finally, I just want to comment on the suggestion they made that they would not put up wires in the city centre, so the trams would run on batteries through that section. At first you might think, grand, so what? But it's a very silly decision. Batteries will increase the weight of trams, and switching power modes provides another chance for things to go wrong. Furthermore, there were trams on the very same streets before, which had overhead wires, and the wires aren't even that easy to spot. Here, have a go. So now, knowing the problems, please do take a moment of your time to respond to the consultation. State your support for the project and highlight your concerns about the two main points, frequency and speed. It won't take but a moment of your time. Finally, if you want to help more, join the Cork Commuter Coalition, who advocate for better transport in Cork City and who have already published a response to this project. Thanks for watching. I've kept you long enough. Like, subscribe, spread the word. Bye.